listening to you. This is your lifetime work. It's about 40 years when you started in 1969.
51
Okay.
years. 51 years.
51 years.
Yeah.
So you've been working for a long time on this. Yeah, and I can tell you, you were the first to advance this kind of ideas to the world. Because today there's a lot of guys talking about quantum impact on life. You mentioned a couple of them. You have been there for a long time. Your work has been the most serious in the area. All these years, the most serious. People get scared because you present science. You present science, not jungle bungle ideas.
Right.
So what do you think on these guys who are talking about, for instance, Joe Dispenza and such kind of guys who are talking about something similar, but not the same?
Well, I think they're on the same track. The idea that, the mind is energy, that as you concentrate your mind, especially with the spiritual connection, then the spiritual connection gives your thoughts and your emotions power too. It gives a lot more power to manifest in your world. He talks about healing the body. The film Heal, which came out a couple of years ago, it's about the idea. Actually, that film could have been made in the 1970s. It really gets into psychoneuroimmunology and all those concepts. And again, that's not a negative thing at all. I'm just saying it kind of repeats the past. But the thing is, quantum field psychology goes way beyond all this stuff and puts it into an axiomatic theory. It's not empirical. It's not proven in a laboratory yet. It's axiomatic, which means a proposed theory of axioms and lemmas. So we're hoping to generate a lot more research to look at the various aspects of the theory, just like Einstein did in 1905. His special theory of relativity was axiomatic, but it shocked people and really changed the world, and took quite a while for people kind of catch on, started experimenting with it. It wasn't until many decades later they started to do research and actually found some aspects of it which could be verified, the concepts of relativity. So we think we hope the same thing will happen here. We're generating a lot more research about this, because I'm not going to live forever. I'm 70 years old now, so but 70 is a new 40, got to tell you. So I feel young, but the point is, I'm not going to be here forever. So we have to get a lot more folks involved working on this, hopefully, to generate a lot more repercussions from this and have more folks understand this is a way to link the world together, because it transcends all religions. It transcends all philosophies, all political debates and all this nonsense. It's like, well, why are we fighting each other, which is basically tribal thinking? We're all one part of one person. Once we understand that, it connects us up, and then also makes our creative power much greater. Several people combine their creative forces in the same way to manifest certain things. Great things can follow from that. Yeah.
That it's very interesting, everything that you have discovered. Science is behind you. Here in the Andes, I've talked to you before. There was an ancient civilization that came to the same conclusion. That thought and mind is energy, and you can materialize anything with your thought, mind, energies. These civilizations just vanished from the earth. You have found the same ideas that this ancient civilization had, but now with the science we have today in universities, our current knowledge enrich all this tradition of the past. And we have talked about this before. Two civilizations may reach the same conclusion,
right?
In time.
Yeah.
Because this civilization is about 20,000 years old.
Is that amazing? Because
it's amazing.
Because truth is truth. And I really think that truth is truth. And I really think I found this theory. I didn't create this theory. I discovered this theory in the world of abstract thought through a lot of concentration and studying, because I spent a lot of time concentrating when I was very young, studying math and physics, which really helps you think abstractly, which often uses the power of the imagination, but in a very logical type way. So you learn to think in a very abstract way, but also a very pragmatic way, which is also what I learned at NASA. NASA was a great place to work and to learn with so many great science. I met Nobel Prize winners, folks from all over the world, because NASA was very idealistic to put people in space, on the moon and so forth, but also very pragmatic, because how do we do it? How do we actually make it happen? So you combine idealism and pragmatism, is very, very powerful. We do the same thing in quantum field psychology, take some abstract axiomatic concepts, but also put it in a very pragmatic form, which can be implemented on a daily basis to really change your life. We're doing some new programs on this now. I know you are too with your programs. We're creating a new one called Diogenesis, or Awakening Divine Consciousness, which is all about these very concepts. I want to work with you also, perhaps another aspect of this, using the Indian codes that you've developed and worked on and brought forth to the world, and your magnificent work, and great addition to humankind, obviously, the work you've done. And we talk about combining the two together. I think when you come to States, or I come back there again, maybe we get together and put these together into a very, very powerful program to help a lot of people over the world. Because we've got to wake the world up. We're in a transitional.
I think so. Yeah, I think so, because you know, Ron, that what I'm doing is to make this teaching video available for normal people, for people who don't know anything about mathematics, because people get scared, you know, when you present them some mathematics formula, they just get scared, you know. But what you do is to give all these pragmatic ideas, to trust on them. This is not a new age thing. This is not something made up by a wild imagination of somebody. It's mathematics explaining things on how the mind and thought work. So if we combine our things, we can make a great program for people, for a student who can trust that what we are doing is something very, very important and very serious. In my opinion, you are the greatest authority on quantum thought today.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Really do it, because I read a lot, I have seen a lot, and there's nothing more serious than what you have done. So that's why I wanted to interview you and to let people know who you are, especially in the Hispanic countries. From now on, I will present them with new ideas. We could meet again, maybe deepen these ideas on what people are really interested to know about you and your work. If you don't have any problem with that.
No, it's my supreme pleasure, you know, to always work with you, my friend. Always, you know, because we have a connection, a very powerful connection going back many, many decades. I'm sure many lifetimes. I've known you before. When we first met that time in Pennsylvania, at that meeting, I knew you and you knew me, so there's no question.
that was in 1990?
Yes, it was at least
the first time.
It might have been the early 90s. So yeah, it's pushing 30 years ago. Yeah, I think early 90s. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
In the 90s. Yeah.
Early 90s.
It's been a long time. It's a long friendship we have together.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So there's great work to be done, you know, and there are many folks, like I know many folks in Spanish-speaking countries like these ideas, and we need to do translations and whatnot, and we can have it in both languages, have it in English and Spanish, and eventually other languages as well to get the ideas out there. So there's so much more work to be done. So maybe we combine all these to get folks working together, create a group of people, just as Francis Bacon did back when he brought so much great work and so many inventions and ideas to England from Europe in the late early 1600s. There's great work to be done. We need to create a group of people for this.
Sure. That's the idea. And I thank you very much for this short interview, but this will be the first of many. Okay?
Absolutely, my friend. Anytime. I'm always open to talking to you, my friend, but my great pleasure. And Vicon Diaz to all your friends and contacts. God bless everyone.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.